Hello, everyone. And if you have issues, comic book issues, you've come to the right place because my name's Brian and this is I Have Comic Issues. And on my episode tonight of Comic Channel Origins, I am interviewing Shane from 1063 Comics, talking about what it was like to grow a YouTube channel the first time and possibly the second time. So, let's get into it. But remember, if you have comic issues, you're in the right place because And welcome, Shane. How are you doing today, sir?
Hello, I'm doing awesome. Thanks so much for inviting me to do this. I'm super excited about it.
Well, thank you for taking the time to be here. And before we get started with the interview, I want to first give a shout out to my channel sponsor, who is Ron's Comic Closet. And I have the QR code right there. Right there. You can check that out to go to link to his website, Ron's Comic Closet. And if you use the code I Have Issues at checkout, you'll get 20% off your first purchase with Ron. All right. Thank you for all that. And just put a note in the chat if you want me to put that up again for y'all later. And I got to take care of something real quick. I need to move my camera. I apologize, everybody.
Oh, things happen.
Yeah. This is the fun of live streaming.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Shane, thank you for taking the time to be here. I know it's a little chilly up there in Canada right now. It's actually pretty chilly here in Florida. I think it was down to 15 degrees.
Oh, I feel
wind
bad
chill
for you.
yesterday. So we're not quite used to that here down in the Sunshine State. But
Yeah, I used to go to Palm Harbor all the time to see my mom. She had a trailer there in Bel Air Park, awesome park.
okay.
Probably 20 minutes north of Clearwater. It was really nice.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I
we
know
would stay
Clearwater.
for like all of December sometimes. So yeah, I love Florida. I think it's great.
Yeah, I have family down in that area also. All right. Well, I know you probably got work tomorrow, right?
Nope, no, I'm off tomorrow.
Okay. So I was like, earlier backstage, you were telling me that what time you normally go to bed when you have to work the next day. So I was thinking, like, wow, I'm like right at that time. So,
Yeah, no,
let's.
like I was just saying backstage that for the first time in like 28 years, I don't have a night job anymore. I pretty much all of my full-time work was working night shifts with either like Tuesday, Wednesday off or something like that. And then recently I'm still working for the same place, but I'm working like a day job now. So it's
Okay.
awesome. But I do get up early for that. But yes, but not tomorrow. Tomorrow is
Okay.
getting the groceries for the house tomorrow.
Venturing it out into the cold weather.
Right.
All right. Well, let's get into it real quick. First question for you. I know I've sent you the questions, but you said before you're just going to go off the top of your head with what you can remember and stuff like that. All right. So first question for you. And I'm going to throw a little curveball into this question or kind of like a two-parter. What inspired you to first start a comic book YouTube channel? And what was your very first video? And then part two of that is what has inspired you to possibly restart a YouTube channel, and what is or will be your first video going forward with that one?
Well, this one might take a little while.
Go ahead.
I'm sure that most people that are watching kind of know, but short story long, I guess I'll say. I won't take up too much time with it, but I guess to say what originally inspired me to start a YouTube channel was I've been collecting comics since I was 14. I've been super fortunate to have been around a comic book shop since that whole time. Like there was just a shop that we went to when I was 14. My mom would drive us, or my friend's mom, and we would go and hang around this shop and a couple other bookstores all day long after school, like on Saturdays. And that also meant that pretty much from the time I was 15, I've been on a pull list for comics. Like I've had books set aside for me ever since. And there was a gap in university where I just didn't have any money that, I didn't buy books, but most of the time I had an arrangement with the shop and they would just hang on to them. And when I got money, I would go in and pay. So I
Okay.
would go in sometimes and have over a long box waiting for me and just slowly chip away at them.
Okay.
And that was more complicated by the fact that I don't expect everybody to know Canadian geography, but I lived on the east coast of Canada in New Brunswick, and I went to school basically in central Canada. Everybody calls Ontario Eastern Canada, but it's not. It's kind of in the middle of Canada. So it's about a 15-hour drive to get from where I grew up, to where I went to university.
Okay.
And what that meant was I just slowly brought comics with me, and then they eventually all ended up here with me. And so I've always loved comics. And then, like, um, like your phone is just listening all the time. So I'm buying comics every Wednesday. I'm starting to watch more YouTube channels. First, I started with Comic Tom and um, other channels like that. And they were super, like, I really liked all of them. And they had a lot of good info. And they would be talking about books. And I'm like, well, I have all of those. Every book they talked about, if it was because of my age, like anything that came out pretty much in the 80s up to um, present, like I probably bought it. Like, I'm not going to say I bought all of it, but if you've watched me on the Comic Vets Show Us What You Got show, like I love reading comics. So, and I'm fortunate that I can kind of pick up the books that I really want to read. But I'm watching all these YouTube shows, and eventually I started to watch stuff from Bleecker Street, and
Okay.
then learned that he's in my area. So, chatting on Instagram, which, I made an account just for comic books, um, decided on a name, all that stuff, but I still hadn't done anything with YouTube, and was just talking to him, and he does pressing and stuff. So he had pressed some books for me, and we were just talking YouTube and shows and stuff. And I was just like, yeah, like maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll give it a go. And it just happened that as that happened, I was off work for a little while.
Okay.
So I had time that, as you know, from doing this and working full time, like it's, not easy. It's you
Right.
got to be organized. Whereas I wasn't working, so I didn't have that chunk. I had those hours that I could, fill with my hobby that I loved.
Right.
And then I started to go in the chat. That's where it always begins on the Comic Vet, Chris's show, and just talking about books and talking with the people. And it was such a great group, and everybody was super friendly. And that kind of got me. Eventually, he said, "Well, hey, well, why don't you come on?" Because he's also in Canada, so he's not. He's probably about 2 hours from me.
Right.
So I was like, I had never done anything like that before, and to that time, I had really limited um, stuff on YouTube. I decided on my name, and my first videos, like my very first video, is I still have it. I actually, because of everything that happened, which we'll get into, um, I have a reaction video of me reacting to my very first video. And I
Okay.
thought the other day that maybe I'll do me reacting to my reaction of my very first video. because um, it just, I don't have any of my other videos. I only have probably out of the uh, probably 1,200 videos that I made, I have about 13 of them. Um, so the rest are gone. But what I was doing when I recorded was I have these bar chairs, and I would set up the comics and a little tripod thing I bought for $30.
Mhm.
And I would just flip through the comics. I wasn't even on camera for the first probably, 6 or 7 months that
Okay.
I was doing it. I would talk and, flip through the comics and say what I liked about them. And then I ended up sending some stuff to CBCS, or yeah, because I had a whole bunch of stuff signed by George Perez.
Okay.
And I decided, well, I'll film myself unboxing it. And it's too bad that video is not around still, because it was pretty funny. Like, it was very, very beginning, kind of basic. Like, the camera was on a ping pong table, so every time I moved the box, it shook the camera, and so it's all the learning curves weren't there yet.
Right.
And so those were kind of my first style of videos. And then Chris had me on, and that kind of opened up the whole, um, being on like a group show, like kind of like this, but with a few more people, obviously,
Right.
just
Yeah.
like a general chat show about comics. And that just led to eventually, Izzy from Izzyverse was on there, and he said, "Hey, I'm looking for someone to kind of, be like a co-host with me, because it's more interactive that way." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And then that started that. So at my peak, I was probably I did Izzy's show on Mondays. Um, I had a video that I would record on. I did a recording of on Sundays, like my the value update video,
Right.
and then Monday was Izzy's live. Wednesday was Chris's show, which I also did sometimes, including shorts and a video. Like, sometimes I'd have 10 to 20 videos that would get posted on Wednesdays. I
Okay.
did a video on Friday, and I did a video on Saturday. So it was busy, and a lot of times I would try to pre-record stuff, and I know that we've had lots of conversations over the phone and online about different YouTube stuff, and I just thought, well, like, I'm in it, I'm doing it. I loved it. Like, I had a really good time. It was long though, like, because sometimes Izzy's show would go on Mondays like 3 hours,
Yeah.
and it's a long time to do this, and it's a long time to kind of, like, I have 3 kids, you know wife, they've all, and where I record, I did have which I still do have, my room tour video, but it's not posted right now. I might repost it, but essentially, like, right to my over there is the stairway upstairs. I'm in the basement of my place right now.
Hey, Stephen.
So I'm kind of taking up the whole basement level here.
Okay.
But um so yeah, and what was the end part of your, oh, and starting again.
Yes.
So quickly, I guess, then, so at the height, I was putting a lot of effort in, and not like work. It wasn't work to me. I loved it. Like, I loved talking with comics with Izzy. Like, he's hilarious. I love doing Chris's show because I like talking with all those people. Like, I would do stuff with Cliff. I went on with Bleecker a couple of times on Sundays, and I was just having a great time. And but like you, I was always like, okay, how is this working? Like, what's in the background? Like, what is pushing these videos? Because I had so many videos going out, especially the shorts, because they just were starting to hit around then when I was doing it. And I
Right.
found that no matter what I did or what they were about, or what I did to promote them or title them or whatever, they would max at 500 views. And they would get to like 480, 487, 492, and then drop. And I'm like, that's like, just by chance, I would expect that some of them would go higher.
Yeah.
If you had like a crazy Transformers thumbnail, or if something caught or whatever. And it never really did. And that got me like, okay, what's happening? So I spent a lot of time watching videos on how to promote your channel, how to, the titling, the thumbnailing. I'm sure just like you have, just like anybody that does um, content creation does. And I started to implement all of that stuff. And, like I was chugging along, like I had a massive growth in subscribers. Um, like it seemed to take forever to get to from like 50 to 500. It
Yeah.
just seemed like it was I would talk to Chris about it and get lots of advice from him, get advice from Bleak. I would be asking people like, okay, what am I missing? I'm missing something. And it turned out that really the best analogy that I found for it that seems to apply is like it's like a snowball. You just got to get it started. You keep putting in the work, and it's like getting that snowball down the hill, or like changing the course of a boat. Boats don't
Mhm.
turn on dimes. You just adjust it, and eventually like it'll come around. And that's what I found. So I quickly, like from 500 to the next level, whatever it was like a matter of weeks, if not
Okay.
days. And um, like I can remember the CBC awards. Like I had gotten a thing saying, "Oh, hey, like you were nominated," and I was like, "Oh, that's great," because I was getting positive feedback from people too, which was also always great. It's like, "Oh, I like what you're doing, and I like the videos, thanks," and all that type of thing. And but by the time that the thing closed, I was already past in subscribers. Like I was unincluded, which was fine. Like I understood it. Like I went from 500 to 5,000 inside a couple of months.
Oh, wow. Is
And
that during the short time? Like, were shorts a part of that?
so I did, and I had to like restructure a lot of stuff as I went because, you know, um, as you know, it's not so much subscribers, it's watch time,
Right.
like view hours. And what I didn't know when I was making all those shorts at first, because is that they don't count towards your view hours.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that. So what I started to do was I was like, okay, well, because uh, I would do a best cover short each week. I would do a
Mhm.
Marvel, and Marvel could be broken up into Spider-Man, you know, uh, regular Marvel Universe stuff,
Right.
like their X-Men, and I would do a DC one, an independent one, and sometimes have like multiple in there too. And I decided to just kind of scrap that whole idea and really reduce it down to like I did like 3 or 4 shorts and one long video that I always did every week that was kind of like me going through the covers and
Yeah.
talking about what I liked about the books, showing them on the side, which evolved over time. At first I had a stand that I had to position on a chair close enough that it showed up the right way. And then I eventually figured out how to just do an overlay of the cover and all of that. And that also seemed to help, because what I did with the shorts was just use them to redirect people to my longer video. So when I published stuff on Wednesdays, I would uh, publish stuff as a group. Like once uh, my long video was finished processing, which always seemed to take longer,
Yeah.
then it would get done. Anyway, things were going along really well. Like I was at about 9,000 subscribers. I was getting lots of comments with stuff, with different videos. I was trying. I had like a slab series, which is interesting. Like I see a few people are doing the same type of thing that I was doing, and not that I invented the wheel or anything on that one, but like just even the name was like very similar. I'm like, oh yeah, go for it. Like I'm not doing that anymore.
Right.
So I had a slab video that I did. I would just pick a random slab and just talk about it for a little bit and say what, tell the story of the comic, because most of my comics, as we talked about backstage, are like the ones I picked up off the shelf.
Right.
So probably out of the almost 20,000 books I have, probably less than 1% are ones that I paid a lot of money for. Most of the rest are just ones that I bought at the time.
Well, that's a nice way to collect.
Yeah. No, and it's not like I don't read them either. Like I read every one of them. So that was all going really well. And then I was talking to somebody, had mentioned promotions, like you pay a little bit and you promote your video. And I know that that's kind of like it was or is like a touchy subject. But I thought, you know what? Like it's not like, to me, it's like you got your kid a job, right? So you're going to get your kid a job, but they're not going to keep their job unless they're good at it.
Right.
So I thought, you know what? I'll try it. So I tried it for like 2 months, I think, and not a lot either. Like very little. Like each video probably got promoted by a couple of bucks. Just to see if it would make any difference. Really, I was interested in trying it on a couple of shorts to see if they would get pushed past 500. And I thought, well, I'll try it on because it doesn't make any sense to promote certain types of videos. Like the Wednesday video that has new books, I used to get 100 or 2 views on that every week, but then it dies off because
Right.
it's not new books anymore.
Right.
Right? It's old books. But I would try to mix in with the week like a video series on like a series that I liked, and that can be like, that's the evergreen content they
Yeah.
call it. And I would try to have those. So I tried to promote each one and to see again, like what happens here when I do this. Like I'm interested, and then is it just shooting up the views and then I don't get any engagement from it and I don't get more subscribers? Well, then it doesn't really matter in the end. So I tried it, and like it worked. Like I had a ton of new people that would message me and say, hey, I just started watching, I just saw your video for the first time, or I saw this video and then I watched these other ones. Like it's really cool. Maybe you could try doing one about this. And they would give me ideas for different series they wanted done. And so I was like, okay, well, it's working. That's great. And then I didn't really need to worry about it anymore. So when it ran out, I just let it run out.
Yeah.
And then I was cruising along. I was probably, not even exaggerating, no hyperbole here, I was 2 to 3 days away from being monetized. So I had obviously the subscribers. The way that, for me, the way my channel view hours went was because the changes I made were within a year. I knew, and my view hours were really high in the later, like the last 4 or 5 months. So I
Right.
knew that overlap, when it was going to hit where the halfway through the year, that my hours were going to bump up huge, because it would finally catch up. Like all those dead months at the beginning of the year, like when it got to July, that's when all of my time started to go up. So all of a sudden it's like this for the year. And then now I would have enough hours. And it was June, I think, like mid-June. So I was like a little bit ahead of schedule. So I was like, watch on my email because I have no idea how it works, like what happens, like how they notify you. But I didn't want to be caught not ready. So I was kind of like, okay, well, if I have a membership thing, what am I going to call it? Like, what's going to be like, am I going to give away stuff? What am I going to do? And I had a couple of really good ideas about how to kind of do that. Ironically enough, very similar to what you're doing with this. Like I thought, well, if the person, like if you were a channel member, I would give you a spotlight. So I would have you on and, hey, like, thanks so much for being a channel member. Like, let's talk about your channel and the books you like and what are you buying and what are you reading, that type of thing. But I woke up one morning early to go to work and I just had this email and it was, your channel's terminated due to, I think it said in the thing, violation of the terms and conditions, obviously. Um, I can't remember which one was first, scams or spam, and deceptive practices, and then either spam or scam. I can't remember which one was first. And I was like, what? Like, what? I couldn't even believe it. So when that happens, hopefully nobody has to go through that. But when that happens, your channel's gone. Like your watch history, your comments, your everything you don't have access to any of it. There was no warning. There was no like emails that I ignored or that went to my junk folder or anything like that. It was, your channel's done. I tried to log on and even my studio wouldn't open. YouTube, all of my watch stuff. So people that I followed and all that, like all that was gone. I had to make another. Thankfully, I had a couple other channels just that I made like years ago, but I just flipped over to them.
Mm-hmm.
And not through any ability on my own part or lack of trying, I have tried probably June, July, like all the way through to maybe January, maybe the end of this year. I was constantly trying to get a hold of somebody at YouTube. You can't reach anybody. I was sending a message. I was appealing. I was like trying to figure out, watching videos on why this happened. And I went through Google because Google owns, YouTube.
Yeah.
So I went through their help because it was a Google account. And I truly don't know if I ever actually spoke with a person. It's really hard to tell. Sometimes it's real easy. This was a little bit more difficult to tell. But either way, none of it mattered. It was gone. And again, 1,100 videos, you don't have a chance to like go and get them. They're gone. So that was a big downer, obviously.
Right.
That took a lot of steam out of me. And then in the meantime, so that happened. We were going out. I had to go out to see my mom in the summer. And we had to move her, and there's all kinds of stuff going on there. And she's back in New Brunswick. And so I just didn't have time to really, I still thought about it. It was still annoying. So I've gone through all the stages at this point. And when you read, because they send you a big thing like, okay, you've been terminated. What now? And it's like, well, you can appeal, and you should familiarize yourself with the terms and conditions. I'm like, all right, okay, well, let's look at them. So when you look at the section that they kind of cite as to why, like what happened to me, and kind of the consequences, it's like hefty. Like technically, I can't make another channel. I'm not supposed to go on another channel as my channel. And it was pretty crazy, the rules that the consequences that they had for this. And not once in all of this back and forth did I ever get a reason beyond that initial one. That's it. No one would say, well, this is why this specific video did it, or anything like that. I was kind of on my own to try to figure it out, and I never did. I appealed 3 times, I think. Talked to Google many times. Talked to YouTube many times. Well, not talked to them. Went back and forth on the internet. So then I thought, well, I made another channel, Comics Covered, because I thought it was a cool name. There was a YouTube handle for it, and they had a little description, but they never posted any content.
Right.
I tried to reach out to them. I never heard back. So I'm like, well, I called it something else, Comics Covered, whatever, 1971 or something like that. But I never posted anything on that channel, because then I went into the stage of like, you know what, screw this. Like, I didn't even do anything. Like, I'm just going to use the same name again. I don't care. So I had a huge, like, this is over, like, I'm condensing it down. Like, this is over months. I went back and forth on,
Right.
Do I just, do I do something completely different? Do I not do anything? Do I do exactly what I was doing and call it something different? Do I do what I was doing and call it the same thing? And eventually I just landed on, you know what, like, I know, like, in my heart that I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm sure that it's just some kind of bot thing. I did read, I was part of a thing where there was millions of channels that were just terminated through AI. And I really think that there isn't any person that saw my stuff that actually looked at it like a real person.
Right.
Because no one would have looked through the content and said that I was doing any of that.
You and all those other accounts must have been the ones that Skynet was worried about.
Yeah. So I settled on, well, I'll do 1063 Comics 2 with the Roman numerals. And so I set it all up because, I have, like, I was all in, right? Like, I had t-shirts made, I've got business cards. Like, my goal when I first started, the goals changed, but when I first started was like, I want to have enough followers, subscribers or otherwise. Hey, Izzy.
Hey, Izzy.
That I could have like a show and sell comics when I retire. That was my thing. Like, that was my whole thing with the big part of grading and the big part of the YouTube thing. So obviously that's a little bit different now, but yeah. So then I just decided to do that. So I did one video where I kind of explained all of that and came back. And then, like we were talking before, I was in the prep for probably like the last 8 months, like, to send some books to CGC while I had the membership. And if you've ever submitted books, most of the time, because I had some vintage ones, it's not something that's done, like, you don't wrap it up in a day and send them. If you really want to get, like, if you're sending modern books and you want good grades, you've got to be super critical on the books and really look at them, and then, decide if they're worth it to send. Like, if you get the 9.6 or the 9.4, like, is it worth it? Or do you just leave it? Or do you gamble? So there was a lot of that, and especially with vintage books. It's the same thing because, I found out when I sent them, like, I had a couple that came back that were restored and I had no idea. And I looked at them close, and I still can't find the restoration on the cover. So anyway, I had those books sent out, and it was 75 books. And that's the second video that's on my channel. And I got them all back. And I thought, you know what, like I gotta record this, because if I don't, I'm gonna kick myself that I didn't do it. I have all this stuff. Like I know I've done videos before. It's not like it was the first video I ever did and I got to figure it out. Like I've got everything right here. I
Right.
just had to set it back up and do it. So I decided to do that, and just as usual, like I just post. Like I didn't have a plan, is what I'm getting at. I had the boxes behind me and I knew which one was the vintage one and which ones were the modern. And I knew
Right.
which one I was going to start with. But in terms of like, and I knew how I would show them off. Like I had a thing there.
Yeah, you
But
had an
other than
easel
that,
or
I was
something
just like,
beside you, right?
pardon me?
You had an easel beside you, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just had that set up like where it had to be for me to work. And just kind of went through them. And it was fun. I had a great time. It was kind of my honest reaction to them, because I didn't look at any of the grades. I had no idea. Um, when I get the invoices, I don't look. Like I just went across and picked them up, because I have to go across the border to pick them up. That's the kind of the best way to do it. And we're real close to the border here.
Okay.
But yeah, so then and I had a few ideas for, and I still do, for kind of what I would do if I did content again. But what it came down to is, um, obviously during that time as well, like I went to see my mom, came back, and then I had been back at work coming up on a while now, but in this new job in about a year, it's almost a year, I've been doing this different job for the same company, different job.
Right.
And obviously it's a lot of time, like it's 40 hours
Yeah.
plus. So that kind of put a crimp on it too. And plus, to be honest, there was still a lot of, there's that always lurking in the background of when I'm planning anything, that it could all be gone tomorrow when I
Right.
wake up. Like, how much effort do I want to put back into something that could just be gone tomorrow? So, like now, when I do videos, I have uh, I have a 4 terabyte drive. Every video gets transferred onto here before I like get rid of it off my phone or whatever.
Okay.
And that way, like I have them. So I managed to save, because your phone, I have an iPhone, and all of my stuff was recorded on my phone pretty much. And I would delete it. Like once it was posted, I would delete it, but it keeps stuff deleted for 30 days. So I was
Yeah.
able
So
to
you
go
had.
back through, and anything. And it just so happened that um, I knew I was going away in July. So I had it mapped out on a calendar, actually, like, okay, Monday is going to be a day I record, and I would record like 10 videos. I would record all day, and to have stuff for when I went to see my mom. And thankfully, like I still have, there's some that never got posted and there's some that did. And as you know, like I tried to go on Rumble when all this happened
Right.
and see if I could make that work. But to be honest, YouTube has the market cornered. Like that's what you realize when you're kicked out, is that that's where it's at. Like Rumble was okay. There was a couple things I liked, but it was just like everything that they had was not as good as YouTube is. And I don't want to offend any hardcore Rumble users, but you're asking someone to go download another thing, and the community aspect of it, it's not the same community like anymore. Like you're when you're not on YouTube, you're not part of all that group. And that's one of the things that I found that I really like a side bonus to doing the YouTube thing, was meeting all these great people, like meeting you, meeting Bruce, meeting Bleak, meeting
Right.
Chris and Cliff, and all those people that are on his show, and you know that I just like to talk to. Izzy, like getting to do his show. So it's like, well, I kind of have to be on YouTube then. So now I'm kind of at the point where it's like I said, I have a couple of ideas, but I don't know. I'm not on any timetable, I guess is the way to put it. Like
You need to be that special guest star and Shane from
Yeah.
1063
Yeah.
in the credits of every show. And
Yeah.
today, and Shane.
Yeah. Yeah. So I am doing I did a year-end show with Izzy and Cliff, because Cliff
Yeah.
is his new co-host on there, and that was a lot of fun. I had a ton of fun doing that, and I always have fun with doing Izzy's show. Like, it just makes me laugh. It's just, to me, it was like we talked about. There's not a ton of people besides when I go to the comic shop that I can talk about comics with.
Right.
That you can really get in the weeds on it. Like, my kids have a little bit of an interest, but not much. Um, so it's always good, like, to be like, talk to people in the chat about like the different books that are out, and talk to like Chris in the group and see what everybody else is buying, and like, oh, maybe I'll try that. And so that was a unforeseen kind of fun part. So that's right. And I am going to do something with thanks, Izzy, I appreciate that. I'm doing something with
Izzy,
Bruce Kerr.
I think you go on when Shane's going to bed.
Yeah, that's the only thing, we have to figure it out. Um, Izzy is the late show for me now. I'll usually like see it as it starts, and then I'm like shutting everything down to go to sleep when he gets going. But that's good to know. I really appreciate that. So yeah, like now I'm kind of like I don't it's not a top priority, I guess. It's interesting because I found that um obviously, like, in the thick of it like that, when you're making content, and I'm sure that you do this as well, like, you're watching more. Like, I
Right.
was always watching. Like, I want to Chris, I think, put it best. Like, we're all just talking about the same books that come out every week. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but what he said was way better than how I made it sound. And it's true. It's like,
He goes
and
to
we're
bed
gonna
at 7 p.m. Central or 7 p.m. Eastern.
yeah. Izzy, I'm in bed at like 7 o'clock. I'm up at 3:30 in the morning to get ready. So yeah, I think that answers that one. There's more to it, and I don't want to jump all over the questions, so we'll leave that one there. And if anybody has any questions about it, they can just ask in the chat, or they know how to reach me.
Right. So how just on topic or when did you actually do you remember how far back you actually started YouTube, like for the 1063 channel? Like
I,
you said
I
you got to
want,
9,000 subscribers. I'm just wondering, like, how long
yeah,
were
I
you
would
on to
say
get
it was
that intro?
inside of a year, like maybe a year and a half at the most.
Oh wow, that's some crazy growth.
Yeah,
But
it was pretty. It
doing
was
12,
fast,
when you
and
said you
like,
did 1,200 videos, was that including the shorts too?
yeah, that's everything.
Okay.
Like, it because I think there was a big change once I did this. Like, once I went to this side of the camera, so to speak, once it was the talking head videos, because it lets people see your personality more.
Right.
And I always, tried to, let my opinion um, constructively come through, like, without yelling and screaming and all of that stuff. And that's the same thing with like being terminated. Like, I didn't swear hardly at all. Like, I don't ever remember swearing on my own video. Maybe the odd word would squeak out every once in a while, but
Right.
so that was the other kind of strange thing. But yeah, that once I did this, and then slowly started to refine it, like with a little bit better camera and some lights. Like, realistically, you know, I always said, like, in my videos, like, if I can do this, like, anybody can do it. And I was always keen to support anybody that wanted to try it, because, like, I think combined, not including my phone, because that was my main recording thing, except for like
Right.
these, I have a little StreamYard camera. I've maybe $200 in equipment, Like my laptop is 12 years old now. I have the two, like those lights with the diffusers on them. They were on
Okay.
sale on Amazon for like $100 for both of them. And I have the two, those, wherever it is, right there.
Floor lights.
Those two little lights that you can change color, and they were like $30. And I have a little stand I bought at Costco that's $30 that I don't really use anymore. So that was kind of my thing. It's like, well, and I noticed a huge difference in that. Like once I went from, I probably did the behind the camera thing until I got that first order. And then I was like, well, I might as well try it in front. And that was when the snowball started down the hill. And then just, you know, I'm fine with people telling me, hey, maybe you should try this. And I watched a ton of videos on how to do the lighting, how to do your setup, like where to put stuff in the background, what to have in your background, how far to have it away, all that stuff. And, I kind of looked around the environment I have and I'm like, this setup I have is pretty good. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's when I kind of noticed that big increase. And it was probably a combination of being like, I would, go in on, I don't think I was ever on Mark's show, Legion of Comics, but I was always in his comments because
Okay.
the timing for his show lined up fairly well when I was getting ready for helping the kids get ready for school and all that stuff. So I would just have it on in the background, and
Yeah.
and I like listening to his show because he always has good thoughts on the DC stuff, which I enjoy. And yeah, I think just like being saturated out there and having the support of like, JSS and Christina and people like that kind of spread your info around when you show up, help that snowball build up. And I'm not saying it was the best, but you also have to have things that people are interested in as well. Like
Right.
it's, again, as you know, it's not easy, like to do this like you are doing on a daily basis, but even to have content ready and be interesting and all of that, it's a challenge.
Right. And trying to come up with stuff that's interesting,
Yeah.
not just to you, but to other people is not the easiest thing to do either.
Yeah. And there's a balance, right, between like I would pick like a comic series that I really liked to talk about that probably no one has ever read. Like I
Right.
did a few videos like that. Like I did Lords of the Ultra Realm, which is an awesome little DC miniseries from the 80s. And I did Electric Warrior, another DC series. And I love both those books. And I thought, well, I'll do them. And, maybe people watch them, maybe they won't. I have no idea.
Those were your highest performing videos, right?
I think some of those ones were, yeah, the series reviews.
Yeah.
Like I was at the point where, like I would have a video out and it would get, sometimes I never had ones that went, super crazy just because it was still building to that. But like all of a sudden I would look and it would have like 2,400 views. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. And, it had the view time to match, I guess, is the way that you can measure it. Because, if it's just kind of, if you're getting spammed with bots and, people think with the promos, oh, you're just paying somebody in some country to click on your video and then they move on, or some bot to do it, or AI or whatever. But there was lots of engagement there too, which was the other kind of sad thing about losing all that. Was there was
Yeah.
people that I talked to just over the chat about different issues that they had with their comics or making a channel or just stories in general. So yeah, it was tough for sure.
So if you do decide to come back fully, are there things that you would do differently this time around than you did the first time?
Oh yeah, the first thing is I would save all save all my videos. Like if you're
Okay.
doing content, maybe not this type of show, but if you were doing that kind of evergreen content, I would save all those videos, because for many reasons, but that's the main one, is that if it can go, if it's taken down, you don't have access to it anymore. Like, it's just gone. Um, but yeah, like, I've thought about it, like, Bryant, the number of hours that I've spent like racking my brain over, like, maybe it was this. Like, for a while I thought, like, I was talking about crypto a lot because of the Supergirl trailer and Superman show or movie and all that, right? I'm like, maybe they think I'm talking about crypto because I said, I'm not a fan of crypto, or I wouldn't buy crypto or whatever. Like, maybe that somehow triggered the AI to think that,
Right.
people
He's
had
talking
reached
about
out and,
crypto, the super dog.
yeah, just in case the AI is listening, it's crypto the dog, not crypto the money. Yeah, like, I would hear from people, like JSS reached out to me, awesome. Like, he gave me a lot of insight and some things to think about for sure. And people would reach out and go, well, maybe it was this and maybe it was that. And I'm like, well, yeah, but all of those things are like things that they tell you to do. One of the
Right.
ones was the titles, like maybe the spam thing, because when I did my shorts, the titles were always the same, like week to week. I just changed the week number at the end because for me, it checked off all those boxes that they talked about. It was consistent, it was recognizable, so you knew what you were getting when you saw that title if you watched the last one.
Hmm.
And it was fast for me because I have a note in my phone with all of it there. I just paste it in, plop it into the video, and move on to the next one. So yeah,
Talking about titles, like I've decided to change the titles of each of these episodes because originally I started and I had Comic Channel Origins in the title, and there's really no need to. I'm wasting characters by having that in the title when it's smack dab in the middle of my thumbnail.
yeah,
So
and it's hard, right? Because there is searches by the title. So, like, one of the things I kind of found, and I can't remember if you were mentioning it to me. It might have been you actually, because I was saying comics, but I wasn't saying comic books.
yeah, that's
So,
something I've always wondered about. Is like when we say comics, does the search think we're talking about comedians?
right. So I started to make sure that I said comic books in all of my thing. Like, you do have to put some effort into the title, and I found that there is quite a bit of repetition because of that. Like, you have it in the thumbnail, but it's also in the title. And then I spent time on my descriptions. Like, like, it's all in a note, and I would paste in the description. Every video, every short had the same description. Like, it just was a long thing that I put time into typing up myself, and I would use it. But I often wondered, I'm like, does anybody, like, because I would read descriptions every once in a while. I'm like, does anybody even read these? Like, I don't know. Like,
I don't know necessarily that people necessarily read it per se when you unless you tell them to go check out some code that you have for some affiliate link, they might go check that out. But it could be the search on Google to help feed your content to potential
right,
viewers. It does read the search because it only it doesn't exactly watch your videos. It goes by your transcript or what is the made of your transcript, the description of your metadata, which will be your description that you put in,
yeah,
and then also like any keywords or hashtags and things like that. So who knows?
yeah,
That could have been something if like it might have went and said, well, he's not changing up his description very much, so it's repetitive or something.
yeah,
Or,
exactly. And it would be nice to have feedback on that. Like,
well, a
to
warning would
me,
help too.
right? Like, in my world, um, I have to have facts first before I can, like, go and do anything with to anybody or anything like that. Like, I have to have a case. Like you just can't go and take away freedoms from people without having some kind of background to be able to do it.
Right.
And so that's always the thing that's annoyed me the most is send me a warning. Like if I got a warning that said, hey, this video that you're doing, that this one, you need to change this because it's starting to get flagged. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
YouTube's the
So,
second biggest search engine in the world.
yeah. So to me, like, to get a warning like that would have been beneficial because, and again, this is one of the other things that, I've gone back and forth on a ton about this is I'll look at some of the content. I'm not talking about comic related content. I'm just mean other content. And I'm like, so I'm terminated, but that's okay. You could go down that rabbit hole easy, and I have, believe me. And it
Because
just,
you had hair before all this started, right?
yeah, exactly. It just never ends well, and it's unfortunate because YouTube is so big and so integrated into what everybody does right now.
Right.
Like I watch more YouTube than I watch anything else, and I'm sure there's lots of people that do that. Whether it's I have my favorite, I have my shows, like that I'll watch every week. I know when their show comes out, and I look forward to it. And it's all YouTube, like so that was kind of the frustrating thing too. It's like, okay, well, it's okay to, try on clothes, but you're really half naked, but my channel's terminated. I've never even swore once, like,
Yeah. So I guess we on specific moment or video where you felt like your channel really took off would probably be from what I gathered from what you've already covered was when you decided to show yourself on camera.
yeah,
Would be a
yeah. I think
good
that turning
uh,
point, I think that was it. It was, and then, you slowly figure it out. Like when I watched those first videos, like they were really dark and the lighting wasn't very good and I only had the one little thing and like the background was just plain, like not plain, but there was just no kind of difference between like
well,
right here and at the back.
I mean, at least with your background that you have now, we can distinguish the difference between you and Chris.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. My wife always said, is Chris the guy that sits in front of the wall or his card? I'm like, yeah, that's him.
Um, so I guess would you? I personally would, but on your first channel, I would think that your niche, to me, kind of seemed to be more of your series reviews and your the ups and downs of the value of your comic book collection. Is that what you would think your niche would have
Yeah,
been?
yeah. I think that I had a lot of people that were regulars that tuned in that would watch on Wednesday when the new comic books came out because I did a pretty thorough job of like, okay, well here's the cover, but here's what the inside looks like, to give people an idea of that, and then here's what I think of the story, and I tried to bring a little bit to each book, and I tried to come across like in a intelligent, intelligible way that was interesting. That, but not, like if you met me in person, this is me. Like there's like when I met Bruce and I met Cliff and Chris, like it's not like I show up and I'm wearing a suit and I don't talk about comics. You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
this is what you get. This is for better or worse anyway. So yeah,
I,
I think those ones, that's what really did it. And kind of, you know, having the exposure of, being on a show like Chris's or Izzy's where, you know, um, my knowledge about different books from different eras, and believe me, I know that there's some things like Izzy would say, well, we're going to talk about this. And I'd be like, dude, I don't know. I can't wait to see it because I don't know anything about that. But most of the time, like I've either read it, heard about it, or thought about buying it or own it. And so I have lots of opinions on that stuff. And I think that comes across and it draws people to your channel. Like doing shows like this with like multiple people where you kind of get to get your personality across, I think is super helpful. I was very surprised at the beginning of I would watch Chris's video and Bleeker's video, and then I found Mark was in one of them, and so I ended up over on one of Mark's videos just watching it, and I was shocked to see the number of different people that were there. You know, like that weren't part of the other world. Like it was a whole other world. Yeah, but it looks so good, Izzy. It looks so good.
Yeah, it is a cautionary tale.
Yeah, like you've got like I really like Chunko's videos too. I don't know if you watch his videos. I think he's great, and I told him when he was starting, I'm like, dude, don't worry. Like your channel will blow up eventually because he just has a great voice, and his personality comes across, and he talks about interesting stuff. You know, so for me, like, but when you watch when you go on his video, like if he did a live video, there would be a ton of people that you would not recognize. You'd be like, where are these people coming from?
Right.
So that type of the more shows that you can get on like that and have a couple of minutes to like get your personality across, it helps. And I think that was also part of the snowball for me.
Yeah. I think one thing I've learned from the people I've talked to on this, and I think you're saying it also, is being authentic or being your true self, which I would say is key. And I think it's also one of the things that most of, as the phrase has been coined for a lot of us sticker people or lunch money acolytes, as if you've watched other drama filled channels has said, I think most of us, or at least 95% of us, are very authentic. Who we are on camera is actually who we are once you meet us in person. We're not characters that we're trying to play up for the YouTube show. We're being ourselves. We just happen to like comic books.
And that's a huge thing for me. Like it hasn't got brought up yet, but you know, I'm sure you're the same. Like I know for me personally, I have enough stress or had enough stress at work. It's much better now that I don't do this to be in the middle of drama. I do this because I love comics and I love talking about them. And so if I like when I would like watch a bunch of different channels, if I was on a channel or watching a video and it was just like, or Instagram and there's all this drama, like I don't have time for it. I'm out. I don't want to be in the middle of it. And when you do what I was doing, which was mostly my videos were all pre-recorded. So I would go live every once in a while, like when I put away my books. Because again, you know, you're always thinking, how can I use anything I do comic book related to apply it to a video? And so you think about all of the chain of events or the workflow involved in like you getting comics and doing whatever with them, and can you turn that into content that would be interesting? So I thought, well, I'll do a hangout. I'll just fire up the camera and sit in my room there, and I'll put away all my books, and I can answer questions from people and talk about comics. And I'm looking at them, and you know, not a ton of people watch them, but it was fun for me because a couple people did, and that was just starting to build too. Like I was hoping to have, I think I had like you in mind and a couple other people that could come on and kind of, you know, let me know when things were happening as I was putting away books.
Right. Yeah. Kind of be a in-person moderator. And
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, so we've kind of covered number 4 also, which was what content performed best on your channel. I think we've kind of covered that a little bit.
Yeah.
So with all your experience that you've had, positive and negative, how do you balance what you, or going forward, how would you balance what you love talking about with what the algorithm wants? And when I,
Oh,
okay,
that's
let me clarify this question.
yeah.
I'm not saying that you're making it to please the algorithm. I'm saying make the content you want to make, but how would you package that content to work best with the YouTube algorithm that is out there? If that makes any more sense.
Yeah. No,
Right.
totally. I mean, as we talked about, I think, first, and I remember talking to you about this like way back. Like I don't remember the first conversation we had, but it was a while ago
Yeah.
in your YouTube journey for sure. And I've said right from the start, like I love the name of your channel. I think it's awesome.
Thank you.
I think it's one of the better ones for sure because
I was
it
surprised
says,
when it was available.
yeah, it says everything you want it to say. It's great. It's a put that thing on t-shirts and start selling them. It's perfect. I love it. But you have to have like, you know, and we've seen videos like this before where it's like, oh, I got this one and this one and this one and this one. I mean,
Right.
you can only watch so many of those videos for so long, and unless you're a diehard of wanting to see those books, you're going to be able to see those books in the store yourself.
Right.
So it's about um, getting your personality in there is the most important thing, I think, because like again, to go back to what Chris said, anybody can make a video about most of the books that people are talking about and probably have. You know, for me to make a video, if I ever had a Hulk 181 or whatever, like there's 100 other videos that are going to be just as good or better than mine. So how are you going to make it be different? And part of that packaging is, okay, well, understanding, if you're going for monetization, then, well, you want your video to be at least 8 minutes long, right? Because
Yeah.
you don't get paid unless it's over 8 minutes, unless that's changed.
Well, I think it's now if it's 8 minutes or longer, they can put a mid-roll ad in there.
Right.
So
So you want it to have that. You want the title to be kind of good. You want the thumbnail to be good. I mean, we were talking about your one video where your wife went and bought the like picked up the giant box of books, which is a great video. But
yeah.
it's checking the boxes, right? It's got a great thumbnail. It's got a great title. The content is interesting. So like that's exactly what and some are hit. You could do all of that again, and it might not get half the views. That's the X factor of YouTube.
And actually, there's going to be a repeat, and we'll see if it does the same thing or not. I'm just
Yeah.
waiting for some stuff to arrive in the mail, and it's going to be slight. It's going to be different, but it's going to be kind of the same idea. But just waiting for it to get here.
Yeah.
So, and on that one, I'm actually going to have to do a part 2 of that upcoming video because I'm going to have to bring an expert on to actually talk about the stuff that I got.
Oh, great. That'll be
Teaser.
fun. Teaser trailer alert.
Yeah. I know also YouTube or the people love mystery and stuff like that. So like things like these Ollie's packs always
Yeah.
kind of do pretty good because they're always curious about those 3 books that are right there in the middle.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I had a few
Rick and
ideas that I
Morty's
had.
not that big of a deal, but
Yeah.
Starfire's not that bad on the
Yeah,
backside.
that's a great cover. I have that book. The I had a few ideas that could still kind of happen. Like I was going to get my comic store more involved. They don't really have anything online. They're kind of old school that way.
Right.
But I was like going to start to do, a video because like Chris as an example, like he's part of his video is he's driving to the store and he talks about, what the books are that he's looking forward to getting. And then then he has the video where he'll show his books. And I was always kind of like, yeah, I want to see the store. Show me the store. Show me inside the store.
Right.
So that was one of the things that I was going to do in mine was just have a video like at the store, like a weekly or monthly, like little live video, and just kind of have the store in the background doing their thing and talk about whatever books are new and ask them what they want to say, that type of thing.
Yeah. Well, just thoughts come to my head about that is it could be kind of interesting to actually talk to. Like, I don't know how big of a store it is, like staff wise. Like if the store owner is the actual one that orders all the comics, or is he more of a hands-off owner? But it could be interesting to where you actually talk to the person that's in charge of the comic book section of the store and talk to them about what their thoughts are, or what their insight is into the comic book market from a dealer point of view, and maybe do that once a month or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, like there's lots of material there, right? Like, decisions on what they order, like what do they do with their books after a few weeks, like where do they all go? Where do they get their bags and boards? That type of thing. Like there was lots of possibilities there. When you never know, maybe that will happen, but
Yeah.
it's
Well,
not at
like
the top of my radar right now.
right. No, like I've done on Sunday, or I got another little live stream that I do every now and then. And I'll do it. If I do it, it'll be in place of this show every so often, but it's called Comics to Cash, where I'll talk to a comic book reseller or somebody that's that sells books to supplement their
Yeah.
hobby. Because I've done 2 episodes of that. Well, I started the idea because I've done some analysis or analytics on the back end of some YouTube, or not YouTube, but whatnot shows that I've sold, like saying like how much I made, how much did these books cost me, what would be my gross profit versus net profit, and things like that. And they actually are kind of evergreenish videos.
Yeah, for sure.
People are
I
actually
remember
interested in that.
I remember
So,
watching that video that you did on that stuff.
no. Well, thank you. But I've talked to Jim from Bronzeville Comics. I interviewed him because he sells on Whatnot every Monday night at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. So I had him on to talk to him about being a Whatnot seller. And then I also had Ron's Comic Closet, or Ron on, who's my channel sponsor, to talk about what's it like owning a online comic book store, and also being a seller on Whatnot. And if you use code I have issues at checkout, you'll get 20% off your first purchase with Ron. So please check that out if you get a chance. But it's done pretty well. So thank you. Thank you for that, Marsh. So yeah, I mean that's I don't even know why I went into that whole comics together. It's just another thing I was doing serious.
Yeah, we're just talking about ideas.
Yeah. I know that live streams are easier for me to make happen than the pre-recorded. Trying to come up with the time to do the live or record this stuff and then edit the video is always time consuming.
Yeah, see, I was zoned in on that. Like, again, I did it all on my phone.
Yeah.
And that's, I guess, part of the beauty of not having a script. Like, I got good at, there's a point where you understand that if you make a mistake, you can just pause, collect your thoughts, and start talking again, and then just chop out that whole section.
Yeah. I've
And
also
so,
learned though that sometimes the viewers want to see the mistakes.
yeah, and I rarely edited. Like, I would edit the beginning because I would okay, the time I would have the book in front of me and I'd be like, okay, what am I actually doing right now?
Yeah.
Or I'd have the series in front of me. I'm like, okay, well, like, how am I going to do this? What am I saying exactly? And then I would like make sure everything was right and then just start it and just be like, all right, here we go. And yeah, I think that is a huge part of it, is that, we can watch a TV show and get like a very scripted, polished product, but people want to see that, especially like that's what the draw is to like a show like Izzy's, because it's like most of the time it's my immediate thoughts on whatever we're going to talk about, because most of the time I would know, like the presentation, you would send it to me and I would see it, and most times I didn't, and sometimes I did, and then I would just talk about it,
Right.
and there's a rhythm to that, and I think that people do respond to that kind of, it goes back to like kind of the authentic, honest part of it.
Yeah. So do you, going forward, do you have an idea of what the algorithm's going to want from you?
I'm just trying to stay out of its way this time. Like
Okay.
I have like you and like every other content creator, like it's okay to say that you want your video to do well. It's okay to say that you want to have a lot of views. It's not. I don't think there's a problem with that. It's just human nature. Like,
Right.
I want what I'm doing to you know to do well, and I want people to respond to it. I want them to like it. Um, yeah. So the algorithm, like I just don't care, because I think we talked about it beforehand, but like I don't want to put a whole kinds of effort in and have this all canceled too.
Yeah.
So, but I have decided that if that happens again, then I just make 1063 comics 3, start again.
Yeah. Izzy, I think that not showing Cliff and getting his honest, un, un his most raw and honest opinion of any question that you ask him is probably a very good dramatic part of your videos or of your live stream.
Oh yeah, Cliff is friggin' hilarious.
What's he going to say now?
Yeah.
So, all right, big question for you. What mistakes did you make early on that you wish that someone had warned you about?
Oh, well, I mean, we talked about it. I don't know what I did to have this happen. I have no idea. I and again, like if you knew me, like if you ever met me, like I'm not making it up. Like I'm not secretly hiding, what I did because it's too embarrassing or whatever. I have no idea. Literally zero clue why any of it happened. So I wish I knew.
Right.
Um, like
Yeah.
it was
Gonna say,
very
Steve, I know that they do that more. I think it's more for checking for copyrighted material
yeah, I think so.
when they do that checking. But I
Yeah, no,
don't
I
think
think that
that.
everything kind of grew organically and naturally. Like, start with not showing yourself. It's like, well, I didn't even know at the beginning. I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever be on camera. And then you just naturally get more confident and you're like, okay, yeah, this is not so bad. You get your feet wet. So in terms of mistakes, not nothing really. I mean, um,
Archive and save your videos.
yeah, I would have saved my videos, maybe got better light sooner. I kind of waited and waited and waited on that. Um, but everything kind of progressed. And actually, I didn't really have any kind of doubts about any of that. Recording stuff, I didn't, because it was like a weekly thing. So I just slowly, I think, got better and better every week, because I got better and
Right.
better at, you know, the recording and the editing and understanding, being on camera and all that. So I can't think of anything off the top of my head besides the things that we've mentioned, like, back up your videos, you know, take a picture of all the people that you subscribe to if you think you might not remember them, or, have a backup source. Like I had Instagram, thankfully. Like the
Yeah.
day that happened, I had a ton of messages. Like I had to go to work that day. So while I was at work, I was in training and I was getting a ton of messages. Like what happened? Like your thing's gone. I'm like, I don't know. But thankfully I had that backup kind of account in place. So my
Right.
YouTube and my Instagram were the same name. So that also helped out big time.
On Do you go back and watch all of your videos? Because you said you try to do better, uh, or try to grow in that. So is it just, do you think it's more from just putting in the reps that you're getting better, or are you doing any of watching what you've done? And I got to say, that's got to take a lot of time because you were probably the king of long form uh, pre-recorded videos.
I had no problem putting out a video that was 2 hours long. I didn't care.
Right. So my question is, did you rewatch that 2 hour video to see
No.
what you thought okay, might have done wrong? You just put in the reps to try to get better.
I'm a very trying to find the right word, like thoughtful, critical person.
Okay.
So like as it's happening, I will notice stuff that I can improve later. Like don't move your hands around too much all the time. So sit, keep your hands to yourself for a while, but you can be expressive every once in a
Right.
while, but not all the time.
Yeah.
The
Try not to drop too many comic books.
try not to draw comic books, ums and ahs and things like that. Again, that's from being in a background on having two-way radios at work. Just pause for a sec. What am I trying to say? Think about it and get it out. And worst case, you just go back and edit it. But
Right.
again, people like that stuff.
And some of the software now out there for editing can actually go and find all those ums and ahs and take it out for you if you wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. I was pretty quick on my edits. Like it was really, I would edit the start out because I had that little intro that eventually turned into, it was my son at first, and I had the warning logo, which I really love that warning logo. I thought it was, when I finally locked that in, I was like, hey, this is really good. I love how this turned out. And again, like whether or not anybody else did, like it didn't, like I had really enjoyed it.
Right. You got to make the content so you enjoy doing it.
Yeah. So I would edit like that. And I had a certain point where I always started my video, so I knew that I was starting. And I would edit the end, like getting up and turning everything off, and I would just cut that off. But everything else, those long form videos, yeah, I would get messages from people. They'd be like, dude, you should have made that 3 videos. Like it would have been, I'm like, I don't care. It's fine. One long video is okay.
Well, it also, it kind of helps the watch time statistics. If people only watch about 30% of your videos, I think that's that's about the way it works for me. So an 8-minute video, if they watch 30%, they're watching 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So, but
Well,
if you're watching 30% of an hour long video, you're getting what, 15, like 25, or 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Multiply that by 3, you got an hour. So you just need 3 viewers to do 30%. You're good.
Yeah. And I would get messages from people. They're like, dude, I can't watch that right now. It's too long. But they would put it on when they were doing something else, like we all do, right? Like
Right.
I would throw on like a long video, like when I was making dinner or whatever, and just have it on there and and watch and listen.
But well, and to all the people watching right now, I am very thankful for y'all being here. I know that we're not the most handsome or entertaining looking people to watch, but we're trying to give you some good content to listen to. So thank you for that. Thank you for being here. So Shane, what is your process, or what was your process from planning and from a video and producing it from your idea to completion? I'm gonna guess you did a lot of batching where you would you said you were record like for 1 day a week, but you record all day.
Yeah, so I had, and each type of video had its own process, as you probably already know. So like Wednesday's videos of new books, well, first I had to get the new books, right? Like I don't have, I'm not a store, like I'm not associated with anybody. Like I have to go like everybody else does and buy my comic books. Thank you, sir. So I would go to the comic shop for when they opened, like 11 o'clock, I would be there, shoot the breeze for a little bit. I was always there less than an hour. I'd come back home and right away I'd start recording those videos, usually the shorts first,
Okay.
because then it lets me get familiar with the book a little bit. Because again, like I haven't read them yet, I haven't looked at them. I put them in an order because eventually I got to the level that I would have the CLZ screen beside me of the covers, and you could sort them by the date you added them. And I would
Right.
just do that. So I would put them in an order that I wanted to show them when I did the video. And then when you put them on the screen, you just start back and you just scroll through them and they would go along.
And were you
And
doing like the screen record from your phone?
yeah, so I would have at the same time, because if you've never seen my room tour video, which maybe I'll put it up on my number 2 channel, but directly behind me is my TV setup. And so when I was doing these videos, I would AirPlay my phone that was recording to my Apple TV so I could see what was being recorded, which has benefits of if there was a glitch and something froze, I would know right away because I could see that it was not recording anymore. So
Okay.
that prevented a lot of errors. And it also lets you see what you're doing, because when you're recording, you like me anyway with my phone, I can't see what's on the screen. So,
Okay.
but when it was AirPlayed, I could see what was on the screen. So I could tell if I was like, drifting off too far to one side or my chair was dropping or whatever it is.
Okay.
So that process on Wednesday was like, okay, let's get this done. And then it was add the titles, all that stuff. And then start the upload as soon as possible, because sometimes it would take 2 or 3 hours for some reason to
Yeah.
upload. And that video, the long form video for that, was usually about 40 minutes, like 40 minutes a week. But the process, and that was all kind of like just right off the cuff, right? Like I knew the order of the books and I would talk about them, but a lot of them I hadn't even looked in yet. So it was just kind of like show the inside to get people an idea of the art. But like the videos that I did, that I recorded, that weren't part of something new, they had a little bit more planning to them. It's like, okay, well, what series do I want to talk about? What slab do I want to spend some time on? And I would literally, off to my right, have a stack of
Hmm.
slabs that were going to be in the slab showcase. And I would just grab one. And sometimes those I didn't really pay attention to the length too much. It's just whenever I ran out of something to say about it, that's when the video ended. And
Okay.
sometimes they were 3 to 4 minutes, and sometimes they were 20 minutes, just depended on the book. And yeah, like those had a little bit more planning that way. And yeah, I did do like batches of them, because Wednesday was like new comic book day. So it was my own new comic book day video. And I wanted to try to have it all done before Chris's show, so that basically as I'm on Show Us What You Got, I would be like adding the tags, adding the titles, like, you know, going through everything, making sure it was ready to go and posting it as soon as his show was done. It would be
Right.
ready to post. And the other ones, they were on like Sundays was the CLZ and the buyer's got the price update. So I would come down and again, you know, at first I just recorded that sitting on the floor in my room, like just my voice only talking while I screen recorded. And it just went out as a short at first. And then again, when I figured out about long form videos and all that, I started to do this with it and have it on the screen beside me. And I put a little bit more effort into it. And then that one was about a 15-minute video. But those were done the day of, like, so the Wednesday happened Wednesday, the Sunday happened Sunday. And, you know, and it worked. But then I wanted to have stuff on other days. Like I knew that I would be with Izzy on, I want to say we were Mondays then.
I think you were Monday.
Yeah. So I wanted to have my own video on Monday that was new as well. So I would start to pre-record those ahead of time and just have them, like, you know, I would publish them and they would just be, I can't remember what it's called now because it's been a while, but whatever.
Premiere.
Yeah, not the premiere, but it would be like not scheduled, but it was because if when it was scheduled, you couldn't change certain things. So it was like unpublished or something. It would just go up.
Unlisted.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. So I would have like, you know, a few weeks out, and I always wanted to have like a few week buffer in case somebody got sick or something happened. I wanted that video to come out. So yeah, I would have a like a little buffer, and then because during that time as well, I was back to work full time. I really had to like map out like when no one was here because that's always the big thing, right? I can't do this when people are coming and going because it's a little bit too distracting. I'd rather do it when there's no one here. So, and that only happened certain days. So I would have to schedule ahead and go, okay, well, next Friday, I'm waking up. And as soon as everybody leaves the house, I'm recording. And I would have piles of stuff like series, slabs, whatever to talk about. And I would try to do like, if I was buying something, right? Like even if it had like loosely related to comics, I would have a short about that or include it in the long form video or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, there was definitely processes involved for each type of video. But again, you know, I enjoyed setting it all up. It was fun.
All right. So this question is very relevant to your experience and all that. How do you engage with your community, and has it changed as you've grown? And I'm gonna guess, I mean, when you have a channel that had 9,000 subscribers and then the channel's gone, that technically that's your community that is no longer there. And so you had to have you had a way in place that you could communicate with some of your more diehard community members. If you want to elaborate
Yeah.
upon that.
Yeah, for sure. So the community was everything. Like again, you know, my starting Instagram and starting YouTube was a means to be able to sell comics when I retired. That was the goal. Like because I watched a lot of claim sales. Like Mint Hunter has a claim sale. Like I loved his channel, and he was always like really good in the comments. Like he'd answer comments and things like that. And that was always a big deal to me. Is like, okay, well, answer people. Like I don't know how big I would have to get to not answer comments. Like I have no idea. I would not have to have that problem because if someone commented on any of my videos, I always responded. Unless it was like I only had like, I think out of all those videos and thousands of comments, I really only had a couple that were like offhand.
Right.
And, you know, I don't get involved in drama wars. I just didn't answer. Just left it. like, or I remove the comment or whatever. But that engagement, like that's what switched the whole thinking. Like once I started to get more into it, like all the people were the reason I went on Chris's show. I just was laughing all the time. Like it was just so much fun. And like when you started, like talking with you and like talking with Nerdy Geek and, you know, finding all those people and Terry as well, like in the UK, like it was just fun to see like a different perspective from another continent, right? Of
Yeah.
comics and stuff. So I think like how did I and did I engage is like honestly with honesty. It's, you know, if people ask me a question, I would answer it as honest as I could. I didn't, you know, like I had lots of people that would message me and say, hey, can you watch a video for me and let me know what you think about it? I think you've
I
done
think
that before.
I've asked you to do that.
Yeah. And I think if you're taking the time to ask me, then you don't just want me to say, yeah, dynamite, it's awesome. You want the person to put some effort into it and think about it and provide you with some feedback. So I think I had lots of people ask me about that, I would watch and think about it, you know, and go, okay, yeah, let me look at it and I'll get back to you about it. And I think if you do that, then that's a respect piece. And you know, I might not meet everybody in person that I engage with through my channel, but I want to think that if I did meet them, then we would get along. You know, like I have no doubt in my mind that if we met up tomorrow, that we'd have a great time. And whether we talked about comics or what something else, like it would be fine. We would have a good time.
All right. Yeah, Steve, I guess I missed it earlier. Steve said he agreed with us talking about about editing and stuff, and he said he doesn't edit his videos and he leaves in all the mistakes.
Yeah.
So you were talking about a little bit of your gear and that earlier, and with your Apple TV. What other tools, gear, or apps have made the biggest difference in your growth?
This is a big one. This was a good one. This is a GoDocs. It's the wireless mic that I'm using.
Okay. Made you
Whoops,
big
sorry.
so people can see it.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so it's got two mics and it plugs in. You can run it on your phone. You can run it on your computer. It lets you walk around if you need to. You're not bound. Like I always found like the stationary mic look for me. I just didn't think that it was ever going to work. Like
Okay.
I just felt like that's a like it would be too restricting. Like I have a few ideas in my head, and you know, I'll give all the credit to Bruce. Like he had mentioned it, and I was already kind of thinking about it. But like again, if you've seen this space, like between me and the wall back there, like that's not a computer generated thing. Like that's the back of my house, and it's probably about, I don't know, 12
15.
feet.
Okay.
Yeah, 12, 15 feet between the back of me and there. There's room to do things. And if you watch that unboxing video, like you can kind of see that. Like I had the books stacked in behind me.
Right.
And, you know, again, talking about long form videos, like I think that video is what, like 2 hours or something like that, I think. Maybe even longer. I don't remember now. But yeah, and again, you know, it deserves mentioning again, but like, so I have a Logitech Stream Cam is what is running this right now, which I like. That was 120, and all this is in Canadian. That was $120 Canadian. The two lights that you can adjust the brightness. They come with a remote, two remotes. They were $100. The lights back there were $30 or $40. I had an old computer lying around. The biggest expense, and I don't even use it for this application, is my phone, because it's my main camera for recording.
Right.
So, and then I use CapCut to edit. It's gotten worse now. Like now, it used to be you could use a lot of the free stuff and not have to worry. Whereas now, like I noticed when I did my other one, you really only have like one or two free edits you can do a month. So, like I'm gonna have to. I was thinking about it. I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to use to edit that is free? Like, am I going to use like iMovie because I have an Apple phone? Like I've never used it before, but um, yeah, that's what I edited with was that. I kept all of my titles in a note on my phone that I could just cut and paste.
Right.
Um, yeah,
And you do the editing on your phone?
yeah, I do. Everything is done on my phone, which is it's I think this is a 16 Pro Max
Okay.
iPhone. So
Have
it's
you
got a good
tried
camera.
Clipchamp?
No, no, I've never even heard of that one.
It's Microsoft's one that comes on their computer, but it has a iPhone app.
Oh, I'll have to check it out.
So yeah, I know that on the Windows version, I mean, it has a lot of the same features that that CapCut has. Like it can do the auto edit, where it can go through and do the or get a transcription of your video and then
Yeah.
cut out any of the pauses and stuff like that.
Yeah, and really, the only reason I ended up using CapCut at the beginning and got used to it was when I first started, I would have captions in my video and I couldn't
Right.
figure out how to get them to come on automatically for YouTube, like to do it. And CapCut had that option, like you could put, like it would automatically do them.
Right.
And like, but then probably after 3 or 4 months of doing that and like, spending time thinking like, what color do you want them to be? Like, how big do you want them to be? Like, how long do you want them to stay on the screen? Like putting some thought into it. A few people messaged and they're like, I don't think you need to do the captions. Like it's distracting or whatever they had said. And I'm like, hey, like, and then I tried it for a few videos. I'm like, if you like them, I'll bring them back. If you don't, then like all it do is saving me time. If I don't have to do it, it's perfect. If no one wants
Right.
it, great. I'll drop them tomorrow. And so really, I didn't ever use any of the features of CapCut besides like, um, I would bring the video in and it would load in. I would trim it. I would add my little video at the start, and that was it. Like I didn't use any of the features. So if that's a basic editing tool, like, and I can probably do that with iMovie as well. I just have to sit down and figure it out. So, but
Yeah.
that's a good. Thanks for that app. I'll message you about that.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think iMovie is probably still the same iMovie it was like 5 years ago. They
Probably,
they don't they don't really update their stuff very often.
yeah. As long as I can add clips and stuff like
Yeah.
that, like that's all I need.
Do you use any AI to help you out? Or,
No, and I remember like you sending me that one very early on, like the two people talking about, I think it was Superman or something they were talking about.
yeah.
And no, I've never like it's strange. Like my friend was asking me about it, and I'll get videos from a couple of other friends that they're making of themselves with AI, and I'm like, every time I try to type something in a chat GDP, it just spins in a circle and never tells me anything. So I must have a setting wrong or like something. But no, I don't use. I don't. Okay, so the one thing I did use AI for was when I was doing one of my appeals, which again, a little tip for anybody that hopefully never has this happen. Um, when you appeal your a termination like that, like I did it immediately. Like, I found out I was terminated. I went to work. I came home. I typed up and it wasn't a loud, angry letter. It was like, I don't understand why this happened. I definitely want to appeal this. I have no idea why my thing is can't terminated, and sent it off. After doing some research, I found out that, your appeal letter is your essentially one and done attempt to convince them. So on my second appeal, I actually took what I typed and fed it into a thing and said, write a letter for my YouTube. And I put in the prompts, and it spit out a letter. It was pretty good. So I just used that.
Yeah, that's I just pasted in Steve's channel.
Perfect.
So, and I just subscribed, Steve. Yeah, I use the AI features to. I'm sure I've covered this in other videos that I've done, but I'll take the transcript from the CapCut or Clipchamp can generate for me, and supposedly I've learned that DaVinci Resolve can do the same thing. Haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
But I'll take the transcript from the video, and I will take that over to one of the AIs and drop it in and say, hey, as a YouTube strategist and SEO expert, what's the best title for this video?
Yeah.
From what I provided. And they'll give me options. I'll choose it. They now have A/B testing for titles in YouTube. So it can then try to figure out what the best of your three choices are. And then I'll say, hey, give me a description that's SEO friendly, keywords in the first 200 characters, and it'll do that. Give me hashtags, give me meta tags, and now say, what's a good thumbnail? And it helps with all that stuff.
Yeah. I think that if I started to use it, I would use it more. It's one of those things where I was like, I had things were, in my view, going very well, right? Like, my channel was growing really well. And so everything that I seemed to be doing seemed to be working. Like,
Right.
when I made little changes, it was like, okay, well, I don't want to, change the course here too much, because what I'm doing is reaching people and working in terms of like titles and tags and all that. Like, so I just kept on doing what I was doing. But, if I started to use AI, I'm sure, like, because I remember you sent me for the slab video, you sent me a couple of ideas that AI had said for the title, and I ended up changing it to that. I mean, who knows if it worked or didn't work, but there's
Go
still
check the
views happening on that. Yeah,
analytics.
there's still views happening on that video. Not as many at first. I haven't looked at it in a while. Like, it's not over, you know, 500 or anything, but for a channel that when I put the video up had 3 subscribers,
Yeah.
it's not doing too bad in the end. Like, it's got 300 views or something like that, which, I mean, that's just a different perspective now, right? Like, now it's like, well, people watch or they don't.
Oh, okay. You know how earlier before the show I was telling you that I used the GPT to help come up with the description for this, and I said I just put in, I'm interviewing you
Yep.
today, and we were like, kind of like, wow, I came up with a very descriptive description that's kind of had a lot of good information. Well, your first video that you put out on your new channel is all about what happened to you.
Yeah.
So it probably went and referenced that video and read the transcript and was like, well, okay, this all happened.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, exactly.
so now that makes sense, because we were like going, man, they got a lot of information about you from somewhere.
Yep.
Skynet knows what you're doing.
Exactly.
Um, so, all right, last question I got for you, because I know it's getting kind of late. What advice would you give to someone that is starting a comic book YouTube channel today?
Oh, I
And
think
or what would you want somebody to give you, since you are almost literally starting a new comic book YouTube channel.
Yeah. It's so interesting, like doing this again and having a completely different attitude about it. Because I kind of started with a different goal than I kind of ended up with, was just like I said, to get uh, enough followers to have like 50. My goal was like to be able to have a video and have 100 people join, because 100 people joining a video is fairly rare in the comic book circles. Like to have 100 people in a live stream doesn't happen with many of us creators.
Yeah, at our level.
Yeah, but yeah, you have to be like, you have to go like, to Swaggle Haas or Minhunter or Comic Tom. Like you need to be at 20,000 or 30,000, subscribers, like to get close to 100 in your live stream.
Well, it would
Um,
also be interesting to see. Like, I know that Minhunter does it for his claim sales, but it'd be
yeah,
interesting to see how many he would get when he wasn't doing a claim sale,
right.
because
Yeah,
most of his
exactly.
lives are claim sales. If I
Yeah,
am, if I
yeah,
believe.
and I know that we've talked about this before, and I've talked about this with many people that have asked me about their videos and asked for input. You know, think about, what you want to do, and then do it if that's what you want to do. But if you want to grow your channel, you have to think about how you're going to present the same information that everybody else is presenting differently.
Right.
Everybody is buying pretty much the same books on Wednesday. You know, like Mark is going to show the same books on his show that Chris is going to show on his show, that I'm going to show on my show, that you're going to show on your show, on new books. So what are you doing that's different, or putting a spin on it, or adding to it? Whether it's your experience, or maybe you're an artist yourself and you can speak to that. Like, I know Izzy draws, so we can have conversations about that. Like what are you bringing that's a little bit different? If you're really trying to grow, then that's
Right.
what people respond to. Like Chunko, he's got a great voice. He's a good presence. He has a way of talking, and you can just put it on and listen, and it's entertaining. Cliff, just ask him about Superman and say you don't like the Titans, and you're off to the races. So things like that. And again, it can't be stated enough. Like the people that are listening, and I know that I talked a lot with Nerdy Geek about this, because I was always trying to convince him to pop onto my video when I was putting away stuff. I'm like, dude, just come on. Like you obviously know a lot about comics. You've got a lot of comics. Like you should be making your own videos. You can do it, and anybody can do it. Like, again, my laptop I use is 14 years old. Like I've got $400 and stuff, and really, you wouldn't even need that much if you had a bright room, and you don't need the background. I mean, look at Chris's stuff. There's a there's a thought process to having it be simple, because then
Right.
it's the content. It's memorable because it's simple. Like my wife has seen me watch hundreds of comic videos, but she knows the guy that sits in his car and he's in front of the wall.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I would say that if you want to try to do it, then try to do it. And the way you start that is to get into chats, like videos like this. Find some people that you like, that are doing what you like. Watch a ton of videos to figure out where your little roadway is going to be, and just go ahead and do it. It's fun. I love it, and we both know we both like talking about comics. So
Yeah. All right. Well, it's that part of the every live stream where this is a question that's asked on every one across YouTube. What is next for the 365 or no 1063. I'm not used to that code.
Yeah.
The 1063 Comics 2 channel.
So I don't know. Anybody that, like Steve, like if you subscribe from watching this, thank you so much. Like I'd like to be able to say, hey, there's going to be a video next week, but all I can tell you is that when a video does come out, it will likely be interesting. I have a couple of ideas that I'm kicking around in my head on different things I can do. I started to kind of work on it months ago, and just it's gotten a little bit away from me with work. Things were changing there, but I have a couple of fun ideas that I might try that are going to be completely different. I'm going on Kingdom of Nerds, Brucifer's show on the 15th. I think his show starts at 8.
Okay.
I don't know what the show is even. I can't remember what he said it was, but Bruce sat beside me. He came up to the Niagara Falls Comic Con last summer, and we had a great time chatting, and I thankfully still have that video. We had a good time, and he's fun, so that'll be a good time. And I'm hoping that Nerdy will be on that day too, because just in the crossover of how this happened, I've never got to be on a show with him. But I will say that I just read this series.
Yeah.
So good. Like I totally missed the boat on it. If they don't make the movie exactly like that comic, they're crazy, because that comic is excellent from front to back. It's really, really good.
Hopefully they will. I've read that comic book also. I read it on the Hoopla app. I don't know if you have Hoopla up there.
Yeah, I think so. I bought the little compact. I love those compacts.
I read it digitally on Hoopla, but a couple weeks ago when the compact came out, I bought that for my granddaughter because she expressed interest in wanting to. She had seen Superman and had expressed interest in the Supergirl movie. So I'm like, here, read this. This is what it's supposed to be based upon.
Yeah. So, it was so good. Like, I was just because I've read the latest volume of Supergirl, which
thank you, Steve.
Yeah, thank you. Which is I really like. It's a writer artist, so she's doing both, and I like the art, and the story is just a little bit too. I don't know what the right word is. I don't want to say simple. It's not simple. It's just maybe geared towards a YA audience, like a young adult.
Okay.
So I didn't know what to expect when I read that, but I kept hearing about it. And I'm like, well, you know what? It's in a compact. I'll buy it. It's $13 Canadian. I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
I think the way Mark from Legion talks about it, I think the author or the writer of it basically took True Grit, the movie, and made it into that comic book.
Yeah,
That's
I wouldn't be surprised.
Premise of the story.
And this one is one of the ones that, another video that just happened to get lost. Is
I saw that video.
Yeah, Chris presented me with a deal because we're both in Canada, and I figured out a great way to send books from Canada to CGC, especially if you're near a border. And so I paid for the grading, and he decided he'd give me the 5 best grades, and we sent 10 in, and they all came back great. So I'm super. I still have 4 of them. I traded one for some pressing.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, no, I don't have anything going on. I will eventually do another video. I just don't really know when. I mean, so you just watch for that notification, and when it pops up, like, you'll know I'm doing something. But I'm supposed to be on Only Slabs again in, I think it's May. I think he has me penciled in for, which will be fun. I love talking with Rob, and of course I love talking with Chris. Those guys are great, and they're always supporting great causes and stuff. So that'll be fun.
Well, as I mentioned earlier in the pre-show, And once this video is done processing and all that, I'm going to send you a collaboration link. I would hope that you would accept that. But that way, this then will actually show up as a video on your channel.
Perfect.
So we'll be adding more content to your channel.
Excellent.
And if you do the same, or if you ask or talk to Bruce, see if he'll do that for his show. So then you got more content, and then any other live streams you might go on, it might be a way to generate you some content with
That's right.
with low
The
effort.
snowball is small right now, but it'll grow.
Right. So, and other people will see it, and all of my subscribers that watch this, whatever, will see it and give you the or be given the opportunity to subscribe to your channel and so
Yeah,
forth.
that's awesome.
So,
Great.
I think I'm going to try to record a video maybe tonight, maybe open some Ollie's packs.
Oh,
As I showed you earlier, I got a few
yeah,
to do.
that's awesome.
Everybody loves some mystery right there. So
Yeah,
get
the
those.
Ollie's across from me in Niagara Falls, New York, they've still got a bunch of Ollie packs.
Oh yeah, no, I think they've actually restocked. I know there was a rumor like a year or two ago they were going out of it, but they've restocked and they even got some omnibuses in there. If you need to go check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So gonna record that. I think as of right now, I don't think I'm doing a show next Sunday night since it is Super Bowl weekend. And I think it might be a little bit hard to compete with the NFL.
Yeah.
So probably I definitely won't be doing the show during that time period.
Yeah.
I might do one earlier, depending on what what works for my guests. But then I will have the show the following weekend. I think I'm interviewing Alan, the Comic Geek, the following weekend. So that's everything that I have for I Have Comic Issues. I hope that all of your issues are comics. And Shane, thank you for being here. And with all that, have a good night, everybody. Have a good week at work. And we'll
Thanks
see
so
you next
much.
time. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.